trying to battle it out for a chance to face him in the finals of StarCityGames.com Legacy Open Series here in Denver. All right, so that was a looks like Sensei's Divining Top being activated here by Joe Lossett. He's got Counterbalance and Top on the board, but Michael has Omniscience on the board. So this is looking pretty crazy. I have to say, Counterbalance Top not looking amazing next to Omniscience, but those spells can still be countered even if they're played for free. Unfortunately, Joe Lossett doesn't have a lot of like 8-cost cards to put on top with Top.
What are you gonna do?
He's like, what can I counter here with counter Top? I guess what he needs to do is actually focus on, at this point, looking at the situation, looks to me like Michael's in one of those spots where he has the Omniscience but not the threat. And so if Joe Lossett is able to keep Michael from manipulating his library with Brainstorms and Ponders, he can give himself potentially enough time to get some sort of Entreat the Angels miracle happening, or some other way of winning. Just needs to keep the threats from hitting Michael's hand, because if they're in his hand, they're coming down.
The thing about he can set up a Terminus to stop an Emrakul.
He can do that. Yeah, there's some defense for those threats if they even hit the board, or when they hit the board.
For those of you who are just joining us, we are in the second match of our top 4 here, and this is No and Tell or Omni-Tell versus Miracles.
And it looks like a Living Wish is on the stack.
Oh,
so
boy.
Joe Lossett is attempting to counter it with Counterbalance and Top. Takes a look with Top. Doesn't look like he's found anything that costs 2, but I'm not getting a great look at his hand. I see Spell Pierce, I believe. I see what looks like a Brainstorm to me, so. Alright, so he's in trouble here if that Living Wish resolves. Not sure what's in his hand. If that's a Brainstorm on top and he has a 2 in hand, well, he's gonna go ahead and refresh the top of his library, so that's cool. Alright. Cracks his fetch land, changing the top few cards of his library with the shuffle effect, and now he's going to be able to activate Top yet again in an attempt to find a 2 to counter Living Wish. Alright, here we go. Tap the island, Top, finds a Brainstorm, finds something I didn't see, and something else I didn't see. And it looks like Brainstorm land maybe, or did he find it? He seemed to set that one up very quickly. Looks like he only has 1 card in hand. Doing some math, and Living Wish has, I believe, resolved. Yes, it has. Okay, he did not find a 2. And what is Michael looking for?
Emrakul seems like a good start. Gristlebrand actually is probably better.
We'll see what Michael goes for.
Yeah, go if you get.
What does he think? He goes with Emrakul.
I think you should. And Joe just is like, that's it. Actually, I think that Gristlebrand is going to be better there, because even though Gristlebrand could theoretically be countered, and Emrakul cannot, I think that there is something to be said about Joe being able to Miracle. He's been sitting there for a long time on that top. The Terminus can stop the Emrakul before you get to the Annihilate point.
Yeah. But nothing is stopping Gristlebrand from drawing 7.
Granted, Joe can counter the Gristlebrand with an actual counterspell of some sort, of which Joe has 4 Force of Will and 1 counterspell and 1 Cunning Wish.
To be fair, at that point, he could be pretty sure of the fact that there was no counterspell available because the Living Wish did not. I mean, the Living Wish was not countered.
Yeah.
So he's like, Gristlebrand
then you
safe.
definitely get the Gristlebrand. For those of you who have been listening for a little while and you maybe saw earlier the No and Tell deck, have a situation where it had Academy Rector go get the Omniscience, and then it just had nothing to do. It had nothing to do. It had Omniscience in play, and then a second Omniscience in play, and then just sat there for a long time. The Surgical Extractions from his opponent, Eric, had taken out all of the library manipulation in his deck, and he sat there for several turns until he died. And we were trying to contemplate what other cards one could use as a potential alternate thing to get for your Academy Rector. I've got a couple ones out there that I've thought of, and maybe none of these are any good, but this is just a brainstorm session.
Absolutely.
So the ones I've thought about are Attunement, blue 2 enchantment. You can return it to your hand to draw 3 cards and then discard 4.
Okay.
Null Profusion, black 4, or Recycle, green 4, which
both of which do the same thing.
Both of which do the same thing, which is you no longer have a draw phase, but every time you play a card, you draw a card. Take Possession, which blue 5, and that split second gain control of a permanent. Thought Reflection, which is, I believe, blue 5 as well, which is every time you would draw a card, draw 2 cards. And finally, Trade Routes, which is blue 1.
Trade Routes.
You can turn all of your lands into spells, basically. It's 1 to discard a land and draw a card, and 1 to return a land you control to your hand.
Trade Routes actually is very appealing to me because you see these situations where the Omniscience is in play and now your lands actually do nothing, right?
Yeah.
Because you have no reason to use the mana. You don't have to pay for any of your spells.
Yeah, the only reason to use your mana is to pay for Spell Pierce and Daze.
Right. So you can just go ahead and pick up all your lands and discard them to draw cards.
Yeah. Trade Routes was my favorite because it's actually a useful card to play in the early game.
Yeah, it's got some other play. It's not just there for that, but it has that as a potential way around it. So,
and that's not the first time I've seen Omniscience in play and seen the Omniscience player unable to win.
Trade Routes originally printed in Mercadian Masks. You do have to pay a mana to return the lands, but
that's okay.
And you have to pay a mana to discard a land card.
Yeah.
To draw the card. So you do need some mana situation.
Well, I mean, you've got that mana, though.
Very interesting.
Always brainstorming.
Yeah, I like it. So we're thinking Academy Rector puts Omniscience into play, and then you're thinking a second Academy Rector is what's going to find this other enchantment?
Yeah, that's just basically the Trade Routes. If you just draw it, it's useful. But if you get to that point where you've got nothing going, a second Academy Rector isn't just dead. Okay, we're going to go for the trivia winner while we wait for them to shuffle. The earlier question that we had, you brought up, Joey, a very softball question.
Yeah, just trying to...
And the question was very simple. Who won...
Not who.
Not who, pardon me. What? What deck won the standard portion this morning here in Denver? What deck? What archetype?
Yeah. And it was Maverick. Standard version of Maverick.
Standards Maverick.
Green, white aggro.
Yeah. I don't know if it's exactly Maverick. It's not very
Maverick.
toolboxy.
I'm just
Selesnya.
It's Selesnya.
Let's look towards the future. Selesnya Beatdown.
There you go. Selesnya Beatdown. Green, white aggro was the acceptable answer.
Yeah, you did not have to answer all tricksy. David Jackson at the Djax.
Yeah.
You are the winner. 6 free months of Star City Games Premium. Yeah. It's funny because when the guilds were out, you didn't really hear people talk about things in terms of guilds very often. You heard Boros.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Boros stuck.
Well, it's short. Boros. Try saying Selesnya a lot. It's actually...
Boros isn't bad.
But people didn't say is it.
Yeah. Simic.
People didn't really do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these are short. I understand Selesnya. I understand.
But Boros fits. It feels strong.
Yeah.
Simic doesn't feel very strong. I don't know.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
Well, let's go to the wedges. Seda? Who remembers Seda? Anna? I don't remember. Actually, I do, but Anna is my favorite wedge. But
yeah, I have a lot of trouble remembering those particular wedges, like the invasion block ones, because I took a little bit of a break during invasion block.
I think the one people remember are Raka.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Raka.
Do you know which one's Raka?
Isn't it black, white, red?
No.
Or which one is that one?
Raka is USA.
Oh, okay.
Red, white, and blue.
What's red, white, black?
I believe that's Daga.
Huh.
I'm not 100% sure on Daga there, but It is. Red, white, black is Dega.
Okay, yeah, look at that. Somebody that I was playing those 3 colors, I don't even remember who it was, but kept calling it a Raka deck, and that's where I think I got that in my head.
Just don't tell Gerard Fabiano that he started creating a Dega-based...
Dega-based strategy.
Yeah, here we go. Miracle's trying to make it 2-0 here. Oh, wait a second. Is that right? Didn't we see...
Yeah, the names have switched. we're getting that. Yeah, there we go. So, oh, no, we didn't. We're not ready yet, so that is not Joe Lossett on the right. Is it? The players swap.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Okay, so... Why did the players switch places? Just to confuse us, I guess?
It's okay.
Well,
no worries.
Players apparently switched places.
The one of portent here.
Oh, okay. Just technical reasons we had to switch to the other table. Happened that the players switched their seating arrangements in relation to the camera. So Joe Lossett now on the right. Down a game to Michael Svien with no intel. And a portent from Joe.
Tundra. Lotus Petal. Ponder.
New portent.
Yes, Nuevo Portento. Now, thank you to Alex Benek for the praise about the Academy Rector brainstorm session. I believe Alex Benek was a member of our U.S. national team.
He certainly was.
Yeah. You know, one thing, Alex, I'm really happy to see that you performed so well, and were one of the point scorers for USA.
Yeah.
Go, Alex.
All right, so Tundra number 2 for Joe Lossett.
I think one of the things I'm kind of sad about with the Magic World Cup stuff is not enough people know who Alex Benek is. If he had been in, won a U.S. national championship or something like that as a part of a huge major tournament. Yeah. Ooh, meddling,
we have a meddling mage from Joe Lossett.
And look what kind of meddling mage it is. It's the real one, the correct one. Okay, a little dance happening in the booth. Ricky Hayashi also happy to see meddling mage.
Doing the meddling mage dance, I guess. Yes,
yeah.
We have a Chris Pikula on board.
Thumbs up from Ricky Hayashi.
Now we need to find out what that meddling mage named. Probably the relevant part.
I would not be surprised by show and tell. We see a main phase brainstorm, best kind of brainstorm there is.
I'm laughing at Austin Yost, who says he wants Mike to make the finals so he can listen to me keep trying out different pronunciations of his last name. I want to get the right one. Unfortunately, I just don't know what it is. So show and tell.
You're too old for show and tell now, Michael. That's what I'm telling you. Butt out, Bakula.
Austin changed his Twitter picture too. Looking good. Pretty cool picture. All right, Michael Svien trying to now has to fight both Joe Lossett and Chris Pikula. It is kind of Planeswalker-esque. It doesn't do much, right. But it says no show and tell.
In terms of answers for this, it's possible that Michael Svien brought in Pernicious Deed, and so he could get a Pernicious Deed going to make that go away.
He could also just say, all right,
let's dodge it.
Cast Academy Rector and
that's right. You can dodge it. Meanwhile, we have our staff here doing different MC Hammer dances.
Oh yeah,
they're pretty pumped about Chris Pikula being in play.
This guy, too legit to quit.
Yeah. And Michael also following up with a Living Wish here. This, let's see, is he going to get a Cavern of Souls? Is he going to get a Boseiju? What's he going to get? Phyrexian Tower.
And
I bet you he has an Academy Rector.
I was going to say, that sounds to me like Academy Rector is forthcoming. Now, as much of a legend as Crispicula is, Meddling Mage itself not legendary. So if Joe can find a second Meddling Mage and get it into play, naming something like Academy Rector,
that'd be pretty good.
Well, that will be pretty swell.
I'm not gonna lie, I do love multiple Meddling Mages.
Yeah.
One neat little thing about Michael Svien's deck: Gitaxian Probe in the same list as Cabal Therapy. Peak Eula. Wow, that's so good. We got 2 mana here. What are we gonna see? Snapcaster on Portent?
I guess that's the play here. Joe Lossett with Snapcaster Mage, flashing back Portent, and takes a look, sees Counterspell. Black border card I couldn't see. What was the middle card?
It is a land.
Is it a land?
That might be a Cabal Therapy. Oh, surgical extraction.
Yeah, we have to be a little quiet. I think we need to watch. Luckily,
no lands in there.
At this point, though, the Meddling Mage certainly helps by shutting down the show and tell plan until Michael deals with it. So Joe is free to worry about countering or just keeping the Academy Rector off the table. However he can do it. And I don't mean letting it hit and then getting rid of it.
Right.
I mean don't let it hit.
Now, Michael Svien able to lay his Phyrexian Tower down with no fear. Both players with access to each other's deck list. He knows that Joe has no wastelands.
What Joe does have is a reasonable clock here. 4 power worth of dudes now.
And that's a pass. Counterspell, so awesome. And now he's running the Peace counterspell.
Yeah, Peace.
Here come my 2 victory if you prefer.
Yeah, but it's actually, that's the mage whose spell is getting countered. Because he's kind of looks a little bit alarmed at the fact that something's happening to his spell. It's kind of fizzling.
I prefer to think of it as some other thing.
All right, I'll let you do that. So, 4th land for Michael and passed his back. Joe gonna beat in again with
take
4 power worth of guys. 2 invitational winners on the table.
Oh, that's a good point. I hadn't even thought about
Mage, Meddling Mage.
And now if Michael Svien has a Captain of Souls and a Academy Rector, there's a cavern.
Tiago Chan and Crispicula.
Can they deal with the old lady?
Marvel team up to take down the No Intel deck here in Game 2 of the semifinals of the StarCityGames.com Legacy Open here in Denver.
Look at that, he leaves it open, and that's an uncounterable Rector.
Why, Wizards? Why would you print Cavern of Souls?
Phyrexian Tower, one of my favorite lands of all time. You have an effect for the trigger? What has he got? Oh, he does have an effect.
Interesting. Something. What did he play? It was so quick.
I think a surgical extraction.
Okay, it was extraction, and extraction was met with force of will, and I think, did Joe force back? Everything's off camera here. They're doing a lot of movement, and I'm not quite sure.
And you see what happens here. Now that works. Joe Lossett stops it. Academy Rector has a triggered ability. When it dies, you may exile it. If you do, keyword if, that sets up a trigger. Joe fights the trigger, and by removing it with surgical extraction, Academy Rector does not get to do its special trick.
It's you may exile it, but if your opponent does it, it doesn't work.
The if factor, it requires you to exile it on your own.
Taking a look, confirming. He's taking a look very slowly here, taking a look at the sideboarding options that Michael decided to go with.
What did he target with the surgical?
The Rector, I'm pretty sure.
The Rector, of course. Obviously, it has to be the Rector.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, so it wasn't a force back. It was a second surgical extraction.
Surgical. There we go. Goodbye,
Okay.
Rectors.
Got it.
Now remember, these are not the only Rectors that Michael has. He has one to Living Wish for. And now, unfortunately, with the completely unnecessary change to how the rules work, you can no longer Living Wish for cards that have been exiled, which makes me very, very sad. However, that being said, that sideboard is still available to be Living Wished for.
Yeah, and so Joe making sure that he understands the implication of finding only 3 Rectors there. I'm pretty sure he understands it just fine. Also confirming the Meddling Mage on Show and Tell being the right play.
Right.
Saw at least 3 copies of Show and Tell, if not 4. So Joe survives to fight another turn alongside Tiago Chan and Chris Pikula.
And this is his last chance, though. Right here. All she wrote. Next game.
Does he have a Living Wish?
That does not look like a man beaten by Jax. What do we got?
Brainstorm. Even the Living Wish, though, just puts the Rector into his hand if he doesn't have the mana to cast it. You know what I mean? He casts Living Wish, has access to 2 mana.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Rector is going to wait a turn and
scoop it on up to the next.
The,
well played, Joe Lossett with that surgical extraction.
The invitational clock was too much. Very quick.
He also has Relic of Progenitus in his sideboard, which will do the same trick, as well as Ravenous Trap. So, Ravenous Trap might be a little bit harder to get to trigger, though.
Yeah, I think the relics.
Seeing as he has no way to cast it, I think we're just going to see
the relics
surgical
and the extractions. Yeah. Very cool.
One thing I love that I see in Joe Lossett's sideboard, not that it's relevant for this match, generally speaking, but I love that Joe has Baneslayer Angel on the board.
We saw it on camera.
Oh, man.
Earlier, Joe was playing when it was Glenn and I in the booth. And,
very few
Baneslayer
things
Angel
can fight a Baneslayer Angel if you're a fair deck.
Very cool. That's a card I love to see.
I mean, if I'm a Tarmogoyf and I see a Baneslayer Angel, I don't feel good. Even if I'm bigger than that Baneslayer Angel, the race feels bad.
Yeah. Really, you can be bigger than the Angel, but you're not blocking the Angel, and Angel's been known to race Progenitus from time to time.
I've seen it. Sometimes it's really funny when you see a Progenitus in play, and it just can't keep up.
So David Jackson asks about claiming his free 6 months, and this goes for all the trivia winners. You follow SCG Live on Twitter, and we will send you a direct message to let you know exactly how you can claim your free 6 months, or whatever you happen to win with your trivia question win. So.
Yeah, that's not victory for that mage on Counterspell.
Adrian's looking up the art for old school Counterspell.
It's funny because, you know, we were talking about whether you use old cards or what you use. I use cards that have the art that I like the best, and so I use Ice Age Counterspell.
Yeah, I like a variety of the Counterspells. I like the Tempest Counterspell is one of my favorites.
I hate that one.
Yeah, see, I think you've told me that. I love that one. I love the Tempest Counterspell, but that's not the one I play with. I play with a Korean version of the original Counterspell. So it's black border.
Anyang.
Foreign black border. Anyang.
You can say to someone if you cast it, or they should say to you, Nachamaneon, thank you very much for the class. Give them a little lesson. Okay, we're on to game 3 here. Michael Svien versus Joe Lossett. Now you've got me looking at counterspells, trying to decide what I
There's
like.
a lot of cool art. If you're going to play classic counterspells,
Chandra is pretty good.
That one's pretty cool. I did get a couple of those. I like that art. I love the 7th
edition
art. But listen, here's the thing. I don't like it because it's white border and there's no way to have a black border unless it's foil.
Interesting.
So I want a black border non-foil 7th edition. So there it is. So.
Apparently we need to be quieter when we're not talking about the match. That seems rather dumb. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be super quiet while we're talking about counterspell arts.
Yeah.
Didn't think that was relevant.
I'm going to continue onwards with looking at counterspells.
Mercadian Masks counterspell.
Okay.
Oh, is that
the Judge Gift Program counterspell? That's a pretty good one.
That's a classic one. I like the Mercadian Masks one as well. Yeah. So anyway, well, counterspells.
You know, I had never really paid attention. I hadn't noticed that most of these counterspells were the mage that was the target of the counterspell having their spell fizzle.
You've seen the Nope T-shirts that Justin Treadway designed.
Yeah.
Based off of original counterspell. Love that one. That's actually one of my favorite shirts.
You know, my Justin Treadway shirts make me so happy to wear.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Thraxamundar. Have the
I had
Property of Academy West shirt.
That was pretty solid.
That one?
Yeah, I was out at a show and somebody came up to me and was like, "So, what kind of music is Thraxamundar?" They sound like they're maybe black metal.
You're like, it's Grixis.
Yeah, I mean, I would share some of
Grixis
it
metal.
with you, but I think it might be just too heavy for you to handle.
Yeah. Cruel Ultimatum.
And we're back to the match in progress. We
Not
see
quite
some,
yet.
well,
Quite in
never
progress.
mind.
I think we're gonna have a mulligan in
It's
progress.
a hurry up and shuffle.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Legacy. It's a lot of shuffling.
It certainly is.
Shuffle.
Yeah, so Korean Counterspell. John Johnson saying he also plays with Korean Counterspell in EDH.
I'm going to tell you, in general, if I can play a Korean card, I usually will, as long as I like the art. Korean is the coolest print language around.
It definitely looks cool. I'm actually fairly partial to Chinese. I like the way Chinese looks. Japanese is cool, but I like the way Chinese looks. I have some Chinese Vendilion clicks I play with.
I think Cyrillic is a pretty good one for...
Oh, yeah.
We saw one or two cards that had Cyrillic. All of them kind of just special release cards. Here we go. Match underway, and we're going to have to bring the volume down.
All right, so there's an island, a lotus petal, and a ponder from Michael Svien.
You know what's funny is I could hear my voice echo off of the back wall all the way over there and come back.
What did it say when it came back?
Caw.
All right, so ponder finishes resolving. We just have to keep our voices down here. We're going to get low.
I do like that island. That's a nice island.
Joe deciding what he wants to do here. Plays an island. And passes. Michael untaps.
Island v. island. If you look at these islands, they're not exactly the same island. Pretty close.
I think they're the same artwork. Pretty sure they're the same artwork. One's black border, one's white border.
Look at the color difference, though, on those cards.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Different print run.
I think in one case, we're in the future, and in the other case, we've spun the wheel and we're in the past. Maybe I should say we've hit the nuke. Sorry, we've hit the nuke. My bad.
I get you.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't thinking because these aren't tropical islands.
They look kind of tropical to me.
But,
look at that. There's like little foresty things on there.
Yeah, you're right. Those could potentially, you know. We have to go back.
Underground Sea. Island, Underground Sea, Lotus Petal for Michael Svien versus Joe Lossett's Island. Cabal Therapy, what you got over there?
And
He says,
it looks like
I got a brainstorm. Is that okay? Brainstorm going for some Heidi Hide.
and I
Little
think
Cab Calloway, Heidi, 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 Hi.
trying to figure out which cards he wants to protect most. Which cards is Michael most likely to name here?
If you're just joining us, I am the soft-spoken Adrian Sullivan here with quiet Joey Pasco. There's almost no one left in the hall, and so we're trying to be as quiet as a mouse
Yeah.
to make sure that they can't hear us talking about their match and thus have the match spoiled. Kibitz, I believe, is a part of what we could call that.
Yeah, so we've had quite an exciting day. And at this point, we are watching Game 3 of the semifinals of the StarCityGames.com Legacy Open in Denver. And we're going to see Cabal Therapy showing us Counterbalance, Top, Caracas, Misty Rainforest, Brainstorm.
And a little shout out to the Twitterverse. Benjamin Sturtzilla. I totally agree that Ice Age Counterspell has great art and flavored text. Surgical extraction underway right now. Let's see what happens.
He named Meddling Mage apparently and hit it because we didn't see it. We were looking at the actual contents of his hand. Meddling Mage was actually named and now is being not surgically
Cabal
extracted.
Therapy, and then he takes out the other card.
Takes out the Brainstorm. He is he's using surgical extraction to hit Brainstorm.
Now remember,
and he does actually hit one card in his hand.
I mean that is the best way to do it, is when you're able to use surgical extraction as another Cabal Therapy of sorts.
So 4 cards left in Joe's hand. We've got Counterbalance Top, Caracas, and Misty.
This is the final game of this match. One of these players is going to have to face off against Branson Mitchell, waiting in the wings with his 1-turn kill.
Yeah. And Joe's going to have to win this match. If he wins, he's going to have to win without his Brainstorms. And
that's actually super hard for a Miracle deck.
Really
he still has top for now.
Yeah, for the moment. So, Ponder from Michael. Joe draws. Trying to see just two surgical extractions in both of these players' decks. There's Caracas and Sensei's Divining Top for Joe Lossett.
We get a draw from Michael. Land. Or I should say mana. Swing? He's got mana to hard cast Force of Will if he wants. Therapy. He knows some of the cards in there. He knows there's a counterbalance in there.
He certainly does. And Joe,
just like you got me,
says yeah.
Force of Will and Misty Rainforest left.
Loses the counterbalance.
And a check of the top with the Sensei's Divining Top from Joe. Misty shuffles that away.
So finds a Tundra.
Both of these players well aware there are no wastelands to mess anything up.
Yeah. So Joe's side of the board is Sensei's Divining Top, Caracas, Tundra, Island.
Oh my god.
He finds
a counterbalance. How awesome.
In the top 3, yeah, I actually thought that's what it was, but I was thinking it was another force.
And it looks like Michael, does he have a response? He's only got 1 card in hand, is that right?
He may have a response. We're going to see what it is. Does he have he doesn't have access to red blasts, right? No, is he just cracking his fetch? I don't know if this is in response or just at end of turn, but either way, now Joe's side of the board.
Oh, it is just at the end of turn, I think. I think his card is a Force of Will.
Joe's card is Force of Will.
I think Michael's card is Force of Will, but with not enough mana to cast it. Yeah, it was a Force of Will in his hand, but no blue card and 1 mana short. And you see him pound the table. He's a little bit frustrated. All in, let's do it. Academy Rector. How does that work? We're going to do a check. What are the 4s that Joe has? Joe has Moat, he has Jace.
And I don't think he found any of those. He found a couple of 3s and an extraction.
Surgical extraction does a lot, though.
Certainly does. I think he found Entreat, Vendilion Click, and Extraction. So
Entreat ain't nothing.
Absolutely not. He's gonna leave the Extraction on top, I imagine. Man, it just got getting so quiet in here. I feel like I can't even talk.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like if I talk any louder than this, which is a bare whisper, it will literally carry all the way across the room.
anybody have an iPod or a radio we could play over there so that they can't hear us? I'm kind of not even kidding. So, alright. Glenn is apparently actually playing music. That's good, okay. That's something. Alright, we're getting some pauses happening here. Cabal Therapy being flashed back. And in response, Joe is activating top, grabbing the extraction, using the extraction to take out the Academy Rector, and again, nothing Michael can do about that. Shows us his hand, and it is Force of Will. And Joe Lossett has now extracted successfully the Academy Rector for the second game in a row. And that is huge. That is absolutely huge. Now, he does not have a Meddling Mage naming Show and Tell in this particular match, or this particular game, just yet.
But I mean, he does have counterbalanced top.
He certainly does. So he can potentially, now we know on top of his library, our Vendilion Click.
Just keep the click there.
Yeah, click and entreat. You float that click all the rest of this game so that Show and Tell is unable to be resolved.
Yep, that's right.
And, you know, you have to grind it out if that's how you have to do it. I mean, we know he does have access to entreat. He also knows Michael's hand is Force of Will, so he can play around it if he needs to. So we'll see.
This is a rough one.
It's really rough, but I think, like, right now, things are looking pretty good for Joe because the
top stops the therapy. And draws the top. Plays the top.
Plays the top.
Says go.
Top
Michael
resolves.
Draws go.
Plays Misty Rainforest. We know Michael's
Joe
hand is Force
looks
of Will.
at the top.
And he has got click entreat and
Flooded Strand.
Yeah, so just take the Flooded Strand and
That's really funny though.
It is, like, he wants to use the Flooded Strand, but
Yeah.
I mean, he can build up fetch lands at this point. Like, he can, if he can just hold on to the fetch lands and keep floating and build up some lands to the point where he can cast Entreat. Now what he has to worry about is that Force of Will now, but
and he says go. He did not do that. Another land.
What did he draw?
I think he might have drawn the click.
Yeah, that's fair too, because it's a spell that, it's a clock. Sorry. He's gonna
Strand, cast Angel, and Portent.
Yeah, so at this point, Joe just needs to fight against Show and Tell. He's gonna keep the land on top, it looks like. Yeah, he's gonna grab the land, play it, and I imagine
says go.
Yeah, so is he gonna
land go from Michael?
And right now, I think, you know, he's gonna draws for the turn. He already knows how it's set up. Okay, he's gonna entreat here. Interesting.
Wow. He's doing this during his draw step.
So what he's done here is he set up entreat and he's got a way to fight. He's got a Force of Will and a blue card.
That's fair.
So it's just a small entreat, but
a 4/4 kills in 4 turns. That's sufficient.
Yeah, but it's going to be 2 4/4s.
No, is he gonna do all of it? I mean, is he gonna
it depends if he does all of it, but I imagine since he cracked that fetch land, he's gonna go.
I mean, I think there's an argument
here
for saving mana open for your top.
Yeah, I agree with the argument for sure. He cracked his fetch, though. That's what makes me think he's going all in. But maybe he's changed his mind during this little
shuffle. He looks like he's going all in. Okay, it's gonna be 2 angels.
Force of Will.
He doesn't even check the top.
Well, I think still knows what.
Oh, it's still a portent. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a shuffled card. It's a
you're right.
Card.
You're right. Yeah, he could have blind shuffled. Or blind revealed. I'm sorry. Off counterbalance. Now
this is an opportunity here for Michael.
It is.
Well, not really. As Michael's hand is empty.
Yeah. So draws a card. We do not know what it
is. It's not a living wish. I think that's it.
So passes back.
Oh, passes. I think that's it. Upkeep.
Maybe finding himself in the finals yet again at an SCG Denver Open Series.
I try to keep my voice low. We see 2 Force of Will on top. That means that he could have
Angels
attacks
in
for 1 turn clock. Michael draws a card.
What does he have? He has 2 cards. I mean, it's possible that he has Show and Tell, Omniscience.
Or Show. That wouldn't do it. Show and Tell Gristlebrand.
Yeah, Show and Tell Gristlebrand. You're right, Show and Tell Omniscience wouldn't do it. I keep forgetting that Omniscience needs backup. The Insectile Aberration has come over to bother us now, by the way. I just waved it away. Alright, we're going Living Wish.
He could get...
Now, there's a counterbalance on the table, so... And a top.
The top of the library is Force of Will. The hand is Force of Will.
So, at this point, he can choose between... Yeah, I think, do you just... Alright, he's gonna look with top. Alright, see what's happening. Is there a 2?
Oh my goodness.
Gosh. Put a force on top, draw the force, cast force, removing force. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
Right now with Michael with one card in
I don't
hand.
think that it actually matters. I don't think Michael has anything he can Living Wish for that'll save him.
Is there another therapy in the graveyard? Because, I mean, he can Living Wish for an Academy Rector.
And then what?
If he can
Living
Wish
I
for
think he does.
If he has another therapy in there,
I think he might.
Maybe, yeah, I think it's the 3rd card. So if he goes Living Wish, Academy Rector, flash it back, and if that card is Gristlebrand, and he can get the Omniscience into play and drop the Gristlebrand.
Or if it's a better would be an Emrakul.
So Joe's gonna go ahead and see what he's gonna Living Wish for.
And the thing about it is, if it's an Academy
the
Rector,
Academy
the
Rector
Rector can still be countered.
Yeah, no Cavern right now.
Oh, he's got Show and Tell in hand that doesn't do anything.
Not at all. But Michael's gonna put on a show of it, and he's gonna make Joe fight. Oh, I thought his hand was Force of Will. It must have been Counterbalance.
Yeah.
They look so similar. And
there we
it
go.
is. Joe Lossett with a pair of angels takes down No and Tell here in the semifinals of the StarCityGames.com Legacy Open in Denver. And wow, Joe Lossett, consecutive SCG Denvers, right?
Yeah, it's the consecutive finals for Joe Lossett.
Yeah, last time with Cephalid Breakfast. We'll see if Blue White Miracles treats him any better, because he did fall to Tom Ma in the finals with Show and Tell Hive Mind. That was the other Show and Tell deck last summer. That was the Show and Tell deck that was popular at the time.